Welcome to Kentucky Horsepower, the official podcast of the Kentucky Automobile Dealers Association.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of the Kentucky Horsepower Podcast. I'm Sarah Bishop, your Vice President of Legislative Affairs here at KADA. Today, I'm joined by Stephanie Riddle of Vitu and Kelley Raabe-Stall of the Marshall Automotive Group. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining me.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And we are excited today to be talking ELT again. I know that you guys who are loyal listeners of Kentucky Horsepower have heard me talk to Stephanie before about KYELT, but we got a really good reaction to that, and we thought it was a really good idea to have Kelley come on and tell us about ELT from the perspective of a title clerk in a busy dealership. So thank you, Kelley, for volunteering to come on.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what you see as the advantages of coming on to KYELT. How has it made your life easier or better?
The biggest advantage is the quickness, the turnaround time. Yeah. As soon as you get the deal up and you're working up the deal, you're scanning it, going into the Vitu, preparing it, and it's that simple to hit finalize and go. Where in the past you did your work, you set it in a stack, then you went back through and you wrote checks, then you went back through and prepped it for the county clerk. So I think it's quicker. The advantage is the turnaround time, getting the plate and registration to the customer. Customer satisfaction is a big part of that as well.
In general, what's the turnaround time looking like for you? How quickly are you getting things back from the county clerk?
We work with 2 different county clerks over the 6 dealerships that we have, and the turnaround time is the following day.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's great.
Yes.
When we launched KYELT, and we being not KADA at all, but V2 and Champ and KYTC and KAVIS, it was all coming on the heels of the huge KAVIS change, right? From AVIS to KAVIS. And I think that because of the challenges that came with coming onto KAVIS, it made people a little bit adverse to coming on to KYELT, because including county clerks, because it was another change, and I think the sea change that came with KAVIS made people a little bit more hesitant to join this. Talk to me a little bit about what it looked like when you first joined KYELT to now, and the improvements there.
Oh, wow. The change part of it, everybody has problems with change. It's always difficult. You don't want to do it. You want to push back. But between V2 and our blessed county clerk, I mean, it just kind of melded together. But you also have to be accountable as a title clerk to make sure your work's right the first time.
Right.
You know, lessen your rejections and your frustration with the rejection. But yes, everything comes with struggles at first when there's change, especially the big changes that KYELT did for us. Now it's a matter of fine-tune your work. And again, like I said, make sure you're getting it done right the first time, and everything runs smooth. You've got your tag and registration back the next day. You put it in the mail. I mean, U.S. Post Office takes longer than it takes us to, right, the old way. But yeah, it's been amazing.
Okay, really that's great. And so the folks in your office, once they adjusted to the idea of change, the actual implementation of it was totally easy. Reasonable. Yeah, easy. Yes. Okay, great.
Yes. Yeah, that's definitely what I would qualify. It was easy.
Do you think that it sounds like on the customer side, there's not really any change to their experience and expectation, except that maybe they're getting their stuff back faster? Is that
correct?
Your thought?
Okay. Yes, it is. It's kind of seamless to them.
And for the people who maybe aren't in your office specifically, but your sales managers, your F&I folks, what has been their reaction in general to kind of the transition to KYELT from paper?
In general, I think they're getting used to it. At first it was hard, because the state also changed the requirement, had to have the driver's license, had to have the insurance on the purchased vehicle, not just a copy of an insurance card, but that they've come around to where they've got a checklist that they need to follow to make sure that when it gets upstairs, it can be processed right away or the following day and get out.
Great. And Stephanie, would you say this is kind of how you've seen it work in other dealerships too, as far as the sales manager's F&I side, kind of like it's a process, right? First, it's like adapting to change and remembering all of the steps, but then it becomes a seamless process.
Yes, that's Kelley's experience. And as she explained it, it's what we encounter in a lot of dealerships. It's just learning what is required from the sales and finance teams to get for the title clerks, for them to be able to quickly process their deals.
Kelley, what would you say to anybody listening or watching who is thinking about making the switch from paper to KYELT? What would be your advice to these dealers that are still kind of on the fence about it?
On the fence, you really have to give it a shot. Test it out, look at your quality of work. And with the quality of work comes the quantity. The processing time becomes slower. The advantages to a dealership are so many to even list. But the biggest word being, we take advantage of everything we can in life now to make things easier, less complicated. And I think this process does that.
That's great. Thank you so much. And Stephanie, talk a little bit about the process for dealers that are thinking about it, that have heard what Kelley has to say about it, and are like, you know what, I need to do this. I've been putting it off too long. Now's the time. So what do they need to do to get going?
Reach out to Vitu. We'll help you with all the steps. We'll assist you with the process of getting KYELT approval to get you started. And as Kelley stated, just try it. I think you'll love it. Once you see the efficiency that it brings to your desk, you're going to love it. So we welcome you. Come on in.
And we will certainly include Stephanie's contact information with this podcast. And the process is really, you apply with the state and you get signed up with Vitu. Those can kind of happen in parallel tracks around the same timing. And once you are approved by the state, Vitu will onboard you. They'll come in, they'll train your staff, and you'll be ready to roll.
To go along with Stephanie, once you get that process started, Vitu will come in, they'll walk you through the stages. Vitu is connected to your DMS, and being connected, it automatically downloads into the dealer side of the KYELT. So there's not much left that needs to be filled out or fine-tuned. So you put the deal number in, you click populate, and everything goes in there. All you do is verify the information and you hit finalize. It from V2's point, where they start working with you till you send it to the clerk, it just lickety split.
What would be your best pointer, maybe for people who are new to KYELT and who are getting more rejections than they want? What are kind of the learning curves that you had when you started on ELT that you were like, I need to make sure I'm doing this to keep these rejections down?
I think that's the biggest thing. You learn from your mistakes. You try not to make that mistake again. And realize too that most county clerks don't do everything the same. So you might get a rejection from one county clerk that another one didn't reject, but you did the same thing. So it's kind of learning from that and making sure that you're applying what needs to be applied to what county.
All right. Well, thanks. Well, all right. Any closing thoughts, Stephanie or Kelley, before we wrap up?
I just wanted to give a little shout out to V2 Interstate, if that's okay.
Oh,
Um,
yes, that's
for those
absolutely okay.
dealerships, for those dealerships that are still, because I used to do it this way, you're manually doing your out of state. So you're calling that county that that person lives in California or Wisconsin or wherever, taking that time, prepping that deal according to the way that county and state wants it. And I'm going to say it's probably a 2.5 hour prep time when you're doing it manually. V2 has an interstate side that when you sign up for that, again, you only pay for transactions that you run through their system, which does not include a fee inquiry to find out what fees that state charges. But they have a checklist. They provide you a fee quote. They provide you every form and instruction you need for that state in that county. And again, if your quality of work is up to par, I have turned around Indiana deals in one day. I've prepped it, I've submitted it. My auditor got back to me the next day that my audit was approved. It gets UPS'd and no problem.
Business has changed so much, even in the last 10 or 15 years, that like, certainly you guys in Northern Kentucky, but even Central Kentucky, even not our border cities, right? Business doesn't stay within state lines, right? So you can't ask your title clerks and your staff to be an expert on Kansas law or on, New Mexico law, right? But what you do have with the V2 Interstate solution is just that, a solution, something that can take a non-expert and say, instead of spending 2.5 hours on this deal, here's the forms you need, here's the fees.
Yes. It's
Stephanie,
amazing.
do you want to add
recommend it.
anything, or have we been promoting the V2 product sufficiently? What else do you have to say about Interstate?
I love it, Kelley. She's done a great job at explaining it. Kelley was an Interstate user prior to the launch of ELT, and when we first went into the store and met Kelley and trained her for a Kentucky solution, she was very helpful and knowledgeable already with the V2 platform. So again, the Interstate solution is a great tool for those out-of-state sales, from the forms that print to the expert auditors that we have for those states as well. So
that auditor is a V2 auditor. That's not somebody dealership associated. Okay, cool.
Correct. So our pre-audit team, they are those state specialists, and they know the forms and what should be completed. And the turnaround time, as Kelley stated, is just impeccable to what the paper process is for a dealership. So Kelley and her team do a great job with both interstate and in-state transactions. So I appreciate Kelley and all of her efforts and commitment to V2's platforms.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for joining us today. I know that if there are title clerks and controllers listening to this podcast, I do have to take a moment to promote our title clerk workshop in November and our controller and dealership management workshop in November. Take a look at our website for those. Stephanie will be there speaking. Kelley, are you going to be able to attend?
Ma'am, I'll be there.
All right. So if you have additional questions for either of them or me, you can always reach out to us, but we'll also hopefully see you in November at those workshops. Thank you all so much for being on the podcast today, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.